Hello, you are listening to the OmniTalk Fast 5, brought to you in partnership with the A&M Consumer and Retail Group, Firework, Trigo, Sezzle, and Silk.
But we begin today with follow-up news for the second week in a row on Amazon Fresh. And will this story ever end?
I don't know, Chris. But it's making for some good, like, Netflix-era entertainment in the world of retail. So headline number one, Chris, according to our latest news in Grocery Dive, coming off the opening of its 2 new Amazon Fresh stores in London last week, Amazon now says it plans to pause any further Amazon Fresh expansion. Amazon has halted the rollout of its Amazon Fresh grocery stores as the company figures out how to better differentiate them and improve their economics. A quote from Amazon CEO Andy Jassy says, quote, "We've decided over the last year or so that we're not going to expand the physical Fresh doors until we have that equation with differentiation and economic value that we like. But we're optimistic that we're going to find that in 2023, end quote. That was a comment from, again, Andy Jassy, current CEO of Amazon, according to a Seeking Alpha transcript. Chris, those are pretty bold words and language, identifying a big major issue, but also saying he thinks there's going to be a solution in the same year. What do you think about this one?
My only question is the pause pregnant? Like, this seems like a big pause.
Yes.
This seems like a big deal. In a nutshell, I mean, in summary for me, I mean, we've talked about this now. It feels like incessantly I think we've hit this like 3 weeks in a row, and now it's finally being said,
right.
So for me, in a way, I'm not surprised. I keep harping on it, but grocery is hard. Mm-hmm. And it tells me something when Amazon would rather sit on all its leases than open up stores. Because it tells me that people are probably not liking the Amazon Fresh experience all that much. And for as interesting as Just Walk Out technology sounds in the internal Amazon press releases when they first did it, it's not enough. It's not enough to get past the product and the experience that's required in grocery.
Yes.
It's just not enough to do it. And particularly when you're like asking people to scan something on entry, or you got to use a smart cart as well, like for a full-size grocery trip, that's just a lot to get over.
Yeah.
And I don't see the value equation. I'm guessing the value equation isn't there, which is why maybe the stuff we talked about last week with London and them orienting the store differently. Mm-hmm. But if that's all it is, which is all we heard, and it's not about a different experience of the products of grocery themselves or the experience of grocery themselves, I wonder if it's going to lead to anything. So I'm not optimistic like he is that they're actually going to crack the code on this in 2023, because it seems much harder given my experience in grocery.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think you're dead right in grocery is a difficult business to do, and people care. I mean, we've seen that when you look at players like Target who still aren't able to come up, or even Walmart who are trying to bring grocery in, but the quality. I mean, personally, like, I don't think the quality is still there where it's going to replace my quality of produce that I can get from a regional or even the Costco's and Sam's Club that's out there. So I think that, it is a difficult business. They do have to figure out how they're going to bring the right assortment. But I do think that they are able to, they will be able to figure something out. And I don't think it's going to be, assortment as much as it's going to be, how can we make these buildings work hardest for us? And they have the runway that other retailers, I'm going to say it again, like that other retailers don't. Amazon has more power in those lease negotiations. They when you look at all these buildings that are sitting vacant, the cities are trying to fight back. I've spoken to people locally who have these stores that are sitting there, and Amazon kind of gets to dictate the terms and how things are going to operate. Now, how long that will last for, I don't know, but I think that ultimately, again, Amazon has the ability to pause, to hold, even with the money that it costs for them to do that, to really sort and figure this out. And I think that they'll come to a solution quickly or within the year quickly, that they can sort out like how we're going to make this work economically, and then kind of work on convenience as the second part, and then quality of the product as the third.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I listened to you talk about that, and I'm actually more emboldened that they're not going to figure this out, because they can do that. They may or may not, and I'm sure people would argue the extent of which they have the power to control, to negotiate the leases to the extent that they want. But like at the end of the day, like you can do that all you want, but if you don't have an experience that is captivating to the consumer, it doesn't matter. And so that's where I'm still like, when I step back, 30,000 foot view, I'm like, what is the ultimate point of differentiation for these grocery stores, for these physical grocery stores?
Yep.
And I don't know what that is. It's hard to see that on the horizon. The other point I would make too is that it tells me as well that retailers, when you start thinking about it in that frame of context, if retailers are going to go after computer vision, they're going to have to go at it from an operational point of view as opposed to a pull from the demand on the consumer side, that the consumers want this in their stores, because this is telling me that the consumers aren't that ready to adopt this.
Yeah.
And so for it to find its legs, its sea legs, it's going to have an impact on the operations of the retailer first and foremost for it to be successful. And so that's also a big question now hanging out there too. So I don't know how this is going to play out. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's something to watch, but confirming again what we've made the assumptions on for the last 6 months, even since these who knows how many stores are still sitting vacant across the country.